Welcome to beautiful San Diego, California, where the Blue Jays will wrap up a 9-game, 3-city road trip. Today, we're on the deck of the USS Midway. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez, along with Rance Mullinex. And Rance, you and I were very fortunate to be able to play Major League Baseball for a long time. And I know both of our fathers served their country very proudly, and we're proud of that heritage. But, boy, when you stand on the deck of this USS Midway, it really gives you a sense of pride.
Well, it really does. You know, you and I, we were very fortunate, and what we accomplished was significant as an athlete. But what people have done and still do that serve in any uniform, military uniform, what they have accomplished is far greater in significance than anything that you and I accomplished on a baseball field.
Today in uniform for the Blue Jays will be Ricky Romero, trying to finish this road trip up on an upbeat note. Romero's been pretty good in interleague play so far.
Well, he has a 2-1 record in interleague play. Coming off a little bit of a rough outing in Colorado, hopefully he'll bounce back with a strong performance here this afternoon and send the Jays home on a positive note.
Another guy that's really on the upswing is Lyle Overbay. Since he's made some minor adjustments with his batting stroke, the batting average is really starting to take off.
Well, it has. What he did was calm the body down. His body was too active. Now he just focuses on getting that front foot down in time. The body's quieted down. He started to see the baseball a lot better, and it's really paid off over those 31 games. 304, 5 home runs, and 17 RBIs.
The Blue Jays on this road trip have crossed the North American continent to the tune of 9,000 kilometers. The USS Midway, over its 47 years of service, traveled the world and sailed at every ocean in the world. They truly know the meaning of a long road trip. Up next, the Blue Jays and the Padres. In this 3-game set, and Cito Gas will hopefully get a good start from Ricky Romero and run production from the lineup. Let's take a look from the lineup. Fred Lewis is starting for the first time in this series. He has pinch hit in the first 2 ball games. Alex Gonzalez has really done a good job on this road trip, hitting 400 on the road trip, 8 for 20 with a couple of doubles, a home run, and he's driven home 4. He's got a 4-game hit streak as well, where he's 7 for 15, and he has truly been the most consistent hitter throughout the first 8 games of this road trip.
And that lineup will face veteran starter Kevin Correa. He's making his 92nd career start here this afternoon as a starter. He is 28-29 with a 4.46 ERA. Here's the numbers so far on the season: 65 innings, 65 hits, 52 strikeouts. He has pitched twice against the Jays before. That was 07 in San Francisco, but in relief.
Well, Fred Lewis back at the top of the order as Cito Gaston looks to spark this offense a bit. Lewis takes the first pitch, strike. Lewis has had some problems with his foot again, and he has missed a couple of games and feeling a little better today, so he's back in the lineup. Breaking ball just around the outside corner. Ball on a strike. What a gorgeous day here in San Diego. Correa trying to win the series for the Padres. Each team has won a game, as we mentioned. Foul down the left side. Toronto won the opener 6-3 behind Sean Markham, and the Blue Jays were beaten 8-2. Matt Latos for the Padres was a tough customer in last night's game. Ball ran out over the plate, and Lewis popped it out of play.
Well, he really did. Correa got away with a mistake trying to start that fastball inside, bring it back to the inside corner, and it ran back out over the plate. Ended up a pretty good pitch to hit.
Another jam shot off the hands. It stays alive. Correa is 29 years old. He is a former Giant, same as Fred Lewis. Actually, teammates in San Francisco. Correa spent parts of 6 seasons in San Francisco with the Giants. Again, trying to bust Lewis inside. Ball got away from him. It's 2-2. Hammered to the gap in right center. That ball's going to go all the way to the wall, off the warning track, up against the wall. Lewis around first, headed for third base. Here's the relay throw. And it gets away, but Correa's there to back up the play. Fred Lewis starts things out with a leadoff triple.
Well, as big as these gaps are in this ballpark, and of course it's 400 feet out there where Freddie Lewis hits this ball. And if you have some good speed, this is a triples ballpark. Pretty good relay. You can see Lewis never letting up, thinking 3 all the way. And why he didn't slide right here, I don't know. If the throw is on line, there might have been a chance to tag him out. Good job by Correa to back it up.
So Aaron Hill will bat with a chance to get the Blue Jays on the board early. Popped up, first pitch, deep center field. Setting up is Denorfia, and Lewis will hold his ground. That ball kept drifting back toward the infield, and Fred Lewis has to stay put. Going back to the Fred Lewis triple. I don't understand how Correa could throw him a breaking ball after he was beating Lewis so easily with the fastball. But boy, he left that breaking ball right out over the plate.
And Lewis took advantage of it. That first pitch to Aaron Hill looked like it might have been borderline up and in. Anyway, he chased it and popped it up to center field.
Now, Adam Lynn will try to pick up Lewis. Fred Lewis with the leadoff triple, his 3rd triple of the season. First pitch strike. Lind is just 4 for 19 on the road trip. 5 for his last 39. Off the plate outside, a ball and a strike. 1 out here in the first inning. Fouled off the left side. Padres are conceding a run here. If Lynn puts it on the ground, the infield is back. Of course, the outfield, he hit a ball to the outfield deep enough. Lewis should score easily, but Aaron Hill couldn't get one to center field deep enough. On the ground, that'll get a run in. Fred Lewis comes in from third as Eckstein throws out Adam Lynn, and the Blue Jays cash in the Fred Lewis triple.
Oh, with a 1-2 count. Good job by Adam Lynn just to put the ball in play. Make sure you pick up the easy run. Well, early on, you get a triple at least lead off a ball game, and you end up stranding him with nobody out.
But Lynn gets the job done. Now Vernon Wells will bat with 2 outs. Here takes a first pitch strike.
Sometimes psychologically, it's a real letdown.
Been a rough trip for Vernon Wells. He's just 2 for 26 on this road trip. Curveball cut on and missed.
It's been a rough trip for several of these Jays. The hitters, the starters coming into this afternoon. In interleague play, the starters 8.84 ERA.
Way outside off the glove of Nick Hundley. Yeah, they just really haven't had a good trip overall.
Bautista, he's getting the afternoon off. He's had a very tough trip.
Ball and 2 strikes to Vernon Wells. Hit on the ground. Gonzalez will shovel it to Correa, who steps on the bag just ahead of Vernon Wells for the out. The Blue Jays strike first. Fred Lewis leadoff triple comes in on the RBI ground out. 1-0 Blue Jays. Hundley, last 13 games, he's hit .372. Pounded out 2 home runs, driven in 9. He had a big game in last night's game, 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles, and he scored 2 runs. Now this catching tandem of your Victoria Alba and Nick Hundley has done a good job for Buddy Black.
And they'll be facing Ricky Romero, who in his last outing in Colorado went 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. A little bit of a rough outing.
Good numbers for the season. Just 76 hits allowed in 90 1/3 innings. And he's racked up 91 strikeouts. 2 balls, no strikes to the leadoff hitter David Eckstein. There's a strike. Eckstein had a 2-run group base hit in the 8th inning, part of that 3-run 8th inning that really blew the game wide open last night. Just off the plate outside, 3-1 the leadoff hitter. Boy, he does a great job of working the count even in the first at bat, night after night, just making that starting pitcher work. Full count. On the ground. Encarnacion wide of third, bounces the ball, but Overbay digs it out of the dirt. Eckstein's retired.
Nice play by Encarnacion defensively for the Jays. He land back out in left field this afternoon. Wells in center. Lewis will play right. Encarnacion at third. Gonzalez at short. Hill at second. Overbay at first. Buck does the catching. Romero the pitching. And Ricky Romero. Talk about his defensive ability just a little bit. Very quick off the mound. Very athletic and agile. And feels his position very, very well.
Chase Headley takes the first pitch strike from Romero.
Would not be surprised to see Romero at some point in the future win a Gold Glove.
Good curveball. Boy, he snapped off a beauty to Headley.
And if he has that one this afternoon, he'll be tough. That is a pitch he didn't have his last start in Colorado. I think the conditions that evening had a lot to do with that.
Went right back to it. Headley got a piece of it to stay alive.
That was the Friday night game that was called after 6. He didn't have any feel for the curveball or his changeup.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Friday night pitching matchup was the beauty. Ubaldo Jimenez against Ricky Romero, but they both pitched in rain all night long. Romero ahead of Headley, 0-2. On the ground. Waits for it and throws out Chase Headley. 2 up, 2 down here in the first. Beautiful afternoon here in San Diego. Fans can enjoy the ball game. They bring a blanket, sit on that grassy knoll out beyond the seats. There's a large screen television behind the hitter's batting eye there that they can watch the ball game as they sit there on the hill. The kids can enjoy the.
That kid has my rake.
Yeah,
he had it in his left hand momentarily.
It's there. I see it. 2 outs. Adrian Gonzalez takes his strike. Well, it's a great place for families to come and watch a ball game. And the hometown boy, Adrian Gonzalez, having another big year. 15 home runs for Gonzalez. That 2-seam fastball down and in. Romero, much better start to his game here this afternoon than last time out on Friday in Colorado. Ahead of Gonzalez, 0-2. Bounce that ball right at the feet of Gonzalez. Reach back for a little extra and turn that 2-seamer right over.
Gonzalez is a good hitter, and he goes about it the right way this afternoon in batting practice. He hit everything for the most part to left field on the line, just working on letting the ball travel and not hitting lazy fly balls, but hitting the ball hard on the line or on the ground.
Off-speed pitch. Ricky Romero strikes out Gonzalez. His first strikeout of the afternoon. He has a 1-2-3 first. Jays lead it after 1.
fastball will touch 90 with some sink, slider, curve, and a split change. Doesn't throw it real hard. He's a solid veteran, a lot of experience, eats up innings, keeps you in ball games. Two best pitches are probably the fastball and the slider.
Correa grew up in San Diego. He was signed by the Giants and then signed as a minor league free agent here with the Padres. Alex Gonzalez takes the first pitch strike. Mentioned Gonzalez has had a good road trip. One of the few hitters that's enjoyed his time on the road. 8 for 20 on this road trip. Oh, and 2 from Correa. Trying to get him to chase that high fastball, and he laid off. Breaking ball, he waited back on it, but pops it up behind second. Eckstein is back in shallow center and makes the catch.
Defensively, the Padres. In the outfield, Hairston, Denorfia, and Cunningham. Headley at third. Zawadski at short. Eckstein at second. Gonzalez at first. Hundley behind the plate. And Correa does the pitching. Boy, he's had a tremendous series with the glove. Headley's shown quick first step, good athleticism, soft hands. And last night he took a couple of hits away from the Jays. He robbed John Buck and Vernon Wells of base hits last night.
Yeah, he sure did. Wells in the 6th inning with 2 outs. He went to his left, gloved it in, threw a strike across the diamond. Lyle Overbay takes a changeup on the corner to even the count at 1-1.
And they were both difficult plays.
Headley had a rough start to the season. He committed 3 errors right off the bat, and then he settled down nicely. But he's under a spotlight, replacing Kevin Kuzminoff, who was so good defensively at third base. Kuzminoff was traded to Oakland, and Headley was given the third base job, and he's made the most of it.
Well, people get spoiled, and Kuzminoff last year just made 3 errors all season long.
High cut fastball evens the count at 2-2.
And of course, the first thing people start talking about is, well, now this kid's made 3 in a week. But he's really settled in nicely at third base.
The cut fastball fouled off by Overbay. Overbay's done a nice job swinging the bat lately. He has hit .351 over his last 16 games. Just trying to let the ball travel a little bit more, not hit it out in front so much, and because of that, he's been able to pound out 5 doubles and 3 home runs. Off the plate inside, full count. Popped up down the left side. That ball is on the warning track and into the seats. Headley and Zawadski over, but it was about a row deep into the seats, out of play. One out here in the second. Blue Jays scored in the first. An RBI ground ball off the bat of Adam Wynn scored Fred Lewis. Lewis tripled to start the game. One out walk to Overbay. John Buck, the catcher, will now step in to face Kevin Correa. for 4 in last night's game with 3 strikeouts in the opener on Monday. 2 home runs and 3 driven in. 11 homers on the season for the Blue Jays catcher. I asked John Buck about the 2-6 record. I said, you've run into some pretty good pitching. He goes, we've let some guys off the hook. We had a chance to get to Jimenez, and then unfortunately were rained out. Francis, he felt like they let get away on Sunday. It's been a rough trip for the hitters and the pitchers.
Now that's the type of response you want to hear. You don't want to say, yeah, the pitching's really been tough. You want a guy that feels like, hey, we should be getting some of these guys. We've had a chance to bury him and haven't been able to do it. Well, that home run he hit Monday night to right field, straightaway right field, late in the ball game. This heavy air here at night was pretty impressive.
Ball on a strike to John Buck, lays off the high fastball. Yeah, John Buck really captured the attention of the Padre players when he hit that ball off Ryan Webb out of the ballpark. Excuse me, not Ryan Webb, out Gallagher to lead off the 8th inning. He hit a line shot to straightaway right field. Don't see right-handed hitters going opposite field in this ballpark. On the ground, Headley back to him. Eckstein 1, back to first, double play. Again, the Padres defense supporting the pitchers as Headley starts the double play. Threw a strike to David Eckstein, and Eckstein had Lyle Overbay bearing down on top of him, but gets the throw off and completes the double play. Blue Jays lead it 1-0 here as the Padres bat bottom of the 2nd.
The San Diego Padres coming into this series had won 3 straight series. Of course, if they were to win this ball game today, that would be their 4th straight. So if the Jays win here this afternoon, it'd be the first time in 4 tries that the Padres have lost an interleague series.
Now goes to first again, and Hairston is back easily.
Excuse me, they took 2 of 3 from Texas in 09 and 2 of 3 from Seattle in each of their interleague series with them.
0-2 to the Padres catcher, Nick Hundley. Inside, the ball and 2 strikes. Scott Hairston started things off here in the second with a bloop single down the right field line. Popped into center field. Hairston back to first base, tagging up. Wells in deep center makes a quick throw into the infield, and Hairston has to hold his ground. Well, you know, this ballpark is awfully big, and Hairston immediately saw that was going to be a fly ball out to center, so he went back and tagged just in case it was deep enough so he could advance. Now with 1 out, Chris Denorfia, the center fielder, will bat. Denorfia started in the game last night. Was 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Snap throw, and Hairston's just back in time. Hairston has 3 steals and 4 attempts. Ricky Romero has that quick step off and snap throw.
That's been a big part of the Padres offense this year, as the stolen base. Have stolen 58. They've been caught 22 times.
A bunt that is fouled at the plate. Denorfia trying to surprise Encarnacion down at third. He was back behind the bag.
But they've hit just 48 home runs, and if you don't hit with power and you don't have power up and down through the lineup, then you have to figure out a way to score runs. And of course, one way to do that is with the stolen base to get into scoring position. Play a little hit and run. Bunt. Try to bunt for a base hit.
Cut on and missed by Denorfia. Do you think the Padres have enough offense to win the National League West?
Not right now. They need some more offense down the stretch, because again, the tough games are going to be against the ball clubs that pitch just as well as you do oftentimes.
Right through Ricky Romero's legs into center. Denorfia has a 1-out base hit. Hairston stops at second.
Well, Ricky Romero, pretty good arm. He can get it up to 92, 93 miles an hour. Of course, has that very good overhand curveball, the outstanding change to go with it. That curveball, a good 12-6.
Early in this game, Romero's had a good curveball.
They need another hitter in their lineup that can hit real good pitching. You know, the type of hitter, along with, it'd be a compliment to Adrian Gonzalez, that you run into a good pitcher where maybe you only get 6 hits on the day, but the type of guy that can get 2 or 3 hits and maybe drive in 2 or 3 runs. There's not a whole lot of those types of hitters out there, but they do need some more offense. Some more offense that can strike quickly.
Adrian Gonzalez certainly can handle any pitching. You're right. I think he needs another complimentary bat in the lineup. First and second, 1 out.
Because
Aaron Cunningham's the hitter.
Clubs are just going to, every time they do not have to pitch to him, they're just going to pitch around him.
Well, the Padres certainly have the pitching to win the National League. They're in the top 3 in the majors overall in ERA, starting ERA, relief ERA, and home ERA. 1-1 to Cunningham. Taken inside. 2 balls and a strike.
It's like you look at the Texas ball club and you think of Vlad Guerrero, and Guerrero's the kind of guy you have a ball game where you get 6 hits, but he gets 3 of them and drives in 3 runs. So if somebody else drives in 1, now you've scored 4. If you get some pretty good pitching, you win the ball game.
Fouled off at the plate by Cunningham.
That's why they call those guys impact players.
Yeah, guys that will make the manager look at the lineup card and say Guerrero's up 5th. Guys that really capture your attention. You make sure you pay attention where they are in the lineup. Alex Rodriguez, of course, is one of those. Manny Ramirez.
And those guys hit the real tough pitchers. The shutdown guys, they can still get their hits and drive in the runs, get the big hits for you.
Strike 3 called. Fastball at the knees, and Ricky Romero strikes out Aaron Cunningham.
Good fastball. Cunningham may have thought it just a tad low, but a good pitch from Ricky Romero.
You can't be a surveyor with 2 strikes. You've got to protect that strike zone, and Cunningham got caught. 2 outs now for Len Sawatsky, making just his 2nd start at shortstop. Romero's got a pretty good sinking fastball as well. That pitch he struck out Cunningham with was a 4-seam fastball, and Sawatsky took that 2-seamer down.
If you go back to the 92 club for the Jays that won the World Championship, you know it's special when you've got White, then you had Alomar, then you have Olerud, then you have Carter. All those guys could hit the tough pitchers, the real good pitchers, and when you have 4 guys in your lineup that can do that, that's a special situation for a manager and a team to be in.
Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. Romero's ahead. A ball and 2 strikes.
And then the next year you have Alomar, Molitor, Olerud.
Yeah, throwing a little Dave Winfield here and there too. Pretty good balance in those back-to-back World Series championship lineups. Curveball bounced off the plate. Romero's going to have to make a quick throw. Overbay can't take it out. That'll cost the Blue Jays a run. Romero, an ill-advised throw to first base, rushed the throw, threw it in the dirt. Scott Hairston comes in to tie the game. 9-10, Ricky Romero had to wait so long for that high bouncing ball off the plate that he rushed the throw and throws it into the dirt.
This is a ball that he should have never thrown. He had no chance to throw out. Zawatsky, and there's the lead runner. Hairston sees the ball get away from Olerud and scores easily.
Should be an infield hit and an air charge to Romero. Padres have tied it up. Kevin Correa, the pitcher, fouls off the first pitch.
But this is how the Padres have been doing it. And you get the bloop base hit to right field, you get the little ground ball back up the middle, and then you get the ball chopped off home plate where you can't make a play. But Romero should have not made the throw. Should have been thinking about the fact that so you end up with the bases loaded, but you have the pitcher coming up.
Yeah. That's what you have to think about situations. Once that ball's hit off the ground, you know that you've got 2 outs, and it's going to really be a chancy play, and you've got the pitcher coming up. But this is an American League pitcher that's not used to thinking about that pitcher in the 9th spot. A line drive to Aaron Hill. Broken back liner. But the Padres score a run, take advantage of an error by Ricky Romero. Sunday. Interleague play continues at Rogers Center. Giants with Benji Molina will show up there for a little Molina family reunion. Jose Molina had a chance to see his brother. For tickets, call 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations for tickets. So Jose Molina was looking forward to the opportunity to see Benji. The Giants beat the Orioles today 6-3 in San Francisco. And the Giants are headed to Toronto tonight. They will be in Toronto for the off day, and Jose and Benji will have a day together, catch up. We're tied at 1 here. Edwin Encarnacion, the third baseman, leads things on. A ball on the strike. Another cut fastball. A lot of movement on that cut fastball, down and away from Encarnacion.
Well, he'll show you the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and then he'll throw the little cutter that's at about 86 or 87. If nothing else, just a little bit of change of pace will fool the hitter. So
fastball just off the plate. When do you recall the cutter coming into prominence?
This decade, basically. The slider was the pitch of the 70s, the split finger the pitch of the 80s.
Broken bat, grounder to short. Kowalski has to wait for it, but he throws out Encarnacion.
And the cutter has been the pitch of this decade.
Seems as though everybody is throwing one now just to create a little bit of movement and take it off the sweet spot of the bat.
I probably should say at least the first decade of this century.
Probably Mariano Rivera had more to do with it than anybody. Everybody saw him throwing that cut fastball, and you know what? Let me try that. Ricky Romero takes the first pitch strike.
Well, we all know what he's done with just basically one pitch, which is the cutter, which is all he throws. But he does throw it to. He throws it down and away, down and in, up and away, up and in, and he'll start it off the plate inside to a right-hander, bring it back to the corner. He'll run it in on the hands of the left-hander. Pinpoint control with the cut fastball.
Romero is called out on strikes by Mark Carlson down at first base. 2 quick outs here in the third. Beautiful Petco Park in San Diego. Buck Martinez along with Rance Mullinax. This series even in a game apiece. The score tied at 1 apiece. Fred Lewis had a triple in his first at bat. Now you see he's jammed again with the fastball, and that's what Correa did to him in the first at bat, and then for some reason threw a breaking ball, and that allowed Lewis to get to it. Sometimes pitchers just don't believe what they see.
Yeah, they feel like he had to change speeds. Sometimes it seems as if a pitcher will throw something else just so that he feels like he's pitching, when really he doesn't need to. Just stay hard on the hands.
Three balls and a strike to Fred Lewis.
You see there what he's done with the fastball, 286, 500 with a curveball.
Another base hit for Fred Lewis out over the plate, and he ripped it into center. That's a good sign. He's starting to get it back again.
But see, that was not the 90, 92 mile an hour fastball. That was the slider at about 85 or 86. Of course, it wasn't in a good spot either. It's up and out over the plate and flattens out, and Fred Lewis is off to a very, very good start this afternoon.
So Lewis is 2 for 2. He's at first with 2 outs. Draws a throw from Correa. But how many times have you and I seen pitchers throw pitch after pitch, the hitter can't get around, and say, well, you know what, he's probably looking for it now. Well, I don't care if he's looking for it. He can't catch up to it. Aaron Hill swings at the first pitch.
For the second time this afternoon, Aaron swinging at the first one.
He popped up with Fred Lewis at third base and nobody out, but then he was picked up by Adam Lynn, who drove in Lewis. There goes Fred Lewis. High throw, second base. Not in time. Good hard slide. And Fred Lewis bounces up very quickly. That is his 5th steal of the season.
Didn't appear that he had a great jump and a good pitch for Hundley to catch and throw on. Better than a pitch out, literally. And if the ball is down and on the first base side, Lewis is probably going to be out, but it's kind of high and to the shortstop side of the diamond, and Fred Lewis able to get in under the tag.
Well, and Lewis used that good straight leg slide to beat the tag of Eckstein.
And that's what you want to do, go in there hard. And he most certainly did that.
Off the plate with the fastball. 2 balls and a strike to Aaron Hill. A chance to put the Jays out in front. Fred Lewis with good speed at second. Bouncing ball toward short. Zawadzki with the barehanded grab. Nice play by the shortstop. It guns down Aaron Hill and strands Fred Lewis at second. We are tied at 1 here after 2.5. Beautiful San Diego Bay. That's where we saw the Midway this morning. Mara jumps ahead of David Eckstein with the first pitch strike. Eckstein grounded to third in his first at bat. Curveball bends around the plate. A ball and a strike. Good running fastball down and in, and Eckstein swung over the top of it. The tapper toward third broke his bat. Encarnacion pulls Overbay off the bag, but he tags Eckstein. One out here in the third. Encarnacion's throw kind of tailed off, and Overbay came off the bag, but put the tag on Eckstein. Ricky Romero appears to have much sharper breaking stuff here today than he did in Colorado. How much of that has to do with the altitude in Denver?
Well, not only the altitude, but on Friday night it was cold and it was wet. It rained pretty much throughout the entire ball game, and probably was never able to really grip it properly. You got to have a good grip to get the good tight spin to it, and he wasn't able to do that.
Encarnacion's been busy. This time he makes a better throw to Overbay. 2 quick outs here in the third.
It also appeared that Ubaldo Jimenez had some trouble with, other than the fastball. He never could get that good bite with his breaking pitches.
Oftentimes you hear pitchers complain about the altitude and Coors Field. In fact, they can't get that good break on their curveball and slider. First baseman Adrian Gonzalez struck out on a changeup in his first at bat. Rips the first pitch into right field. Got that ball up out over the plate and just hooked it into right.
They didn't waste any time getting on that first pitch fastball, and Adrian Gonzalez doesn't mind left-handers at all. He is among the top National League left-handed hitters when facing left-handed pitching. Came into the ball game this afternoon hitting .318, which is third in the National League against left-handed, lefty versus lefty, and he had now 29 hits against left-handed pitching, so no problem for him.
So with 2 outs, the cleanup batter Scott Hairston will hit. Hairston had a base hit in the second. Start things off. Takes the first pitch strike from Ricky Romero. Hairston scored the Padres run. Came in on Romero's throwing error. Bautista makes the catch, and actually Lewis makes the catch, and Ricky Romero's out of the inning. We're tied at 1. Four hits, and they both scored a run. On Friday, the Giants will come to Rogers Center to start a 3-game weekend series. The pitching matchup: Barry Zito against Brandon Morrow on Friday night, Matt Cain against Jesse Litch on Saturday afternoon, and then the finale, Jonathan Sanchez will go up against Sean Markham. Tim Lincecum started today for the Giants against the Orioles. Adam Lind swings at the first pitch and lifts it to center field. Denorfia is calling for it over in the alley and makes the catch.
Lincecum also was hit by a line drive off his throwing shoulder this afternoon. Didn't appear that he was seriously injured. Miguel Tejada with a line drive right back at him. Hey, Jonathan Sanchez can really throw. He's got a great arm. Nasty slider, curveball. Of course, he's pitched a no-hitter last year.
Vernon Wells takes the first pitch down. Sanchez with a 2.78 ERA. Just 5-5 is win-loss record, but he has pitched well.
Great stuff.
Matt Cain, who will start on Saturday against Jesse Litch, he's 6-4 with a 2.05 ERA. Blue Jays are going to continue this stretch of facing tough pitching. Vernon Wells hits it to center field. That ball is slicing away from Denorfia, but he closes ground on it quickly and makes the catch. Boy, Denorfia really closed quickly on that ball. It was slicing away from him all the way, and Vernon Wells is hitting in some tough luck.
It's a nice play. He gets a very good jump, and as you mentioned, the ball's going away from him, but he's able to track it down. It's a nice catch. He made a nice diving catch yesterday.
Took a base hit away from Edwin Encarnacion on a sinking liner. 2 outs here in the fourth. A pop-up, and Denorfia will record all 3 outs in the inning, as Correa had a very good inning on just 5 pitches. Middle of the fourth. We're tied at 1. Today's profile, Elaine Vallette. In 1991, Elaine established the Center for Dreams in Markham, Ontario. The organization is dedicated to providing a curriculum designed specifically for adults with intellectual challenges. Winners from each MLB club will be honored at this year's All-Star Game. Vote at peopleallstars.com. Bottom of the fourth inning. McCunley will lead things off. Ricky Romero giving up 4 hits and a run. And unfortunately, his error led to the Padres' run. A throwing error in the second. Ball and 2 strikes. Hundley flying out to center field his first time up. Had a big night last night. Hundley had a pair of doubles. He singled in the third inning. He was 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored. Look out. Up and in, 2-2. Hundley might get a little more playing time in a matter of a few days. Jorge Torrealba has been suspended for 3 games. He has appealed it for his incident on Monday night, bumping into home plate umpire Larry Vanover, and he was ejected. Breaking ball thrown right in the dirt. Torrealba fined and suspended, but he will appeal it. Probably have that reduced, but for the time being, he remains on the active roster. Encouraging his catching mate, Nick Hundley. A leadoff walk. We mentioned Jorge Torrealba, the catcher, was ejected. He been called out on a pitch from Kevin Gregg and didn't agree with it at all, and was ejected. And after the ejection, made contact with Larry Vanover, and you see how Vanover pointed it out immediately. Black got in between the umpire and the catcher, but it was too late, and Torrealba subsequently was suspended for 3 days and fined. Mr. Northview takes the first pitch strike after the leadoff walk of Nick Hundley.
You almost sense that some of that was just a little bit of a boil over from the fact that John Garland, the starting pitcher on Monday night, had questioned a number of calls. Buddy Black, the Padres dugout, had not been very pleased with Larry Vanover's strike zone, and then the call to Torrealba, the catcher, which he thought was inside. Everything just kind of boiled over.
A ball and a strike to Kristen Orfia. Romero with a toss to first.
But you would have to say he was running a little warm there for a moment, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got a little excited in that ball game and was tossed out. Both he and John Garland had issues with Larry Vanover's strike zone all night long. Came to a head in the 9th inning. One that's pulled on the ground, foul. Northview has made the last 2 starts in center field with Blue Jays featuring left-handed starters. Last night it was Brett Cecil, and this afternoon Ricky Romero. Tony Gwynn Jr., the center fielder, played on Monday against Sean Martin. On the ground, Aaron Hill tosses to Gonzalez for 1. No chance for 2. They get the lead runner 1 out here in the 4th, and this is a terrific pitcher's ballpark, Petco Park. Big dimensions, a lot of room, and you can see where it ranks in the major league ranking as far as a hitter tough ballpark.
And you combine that with the fact that during the night, in the night games here, the air gets heavy and the ball doesn't travel. You see the ERA 3.36, that's first. Batting average 28th. And this is a tough place to hit.
You see the 7.3 runs combined total for runs per game here in this ballpark. This day and age, that's extremely low. Another toss to check on the Northfield. But it is a good place to pitch, and when you have a big ballpark like this, you need speed in the outfield and you need good defense, and San Diego has that. I just think it is so much easier to put together a winning effort when you have a big ballpark. Pitchers pitch with a lot of confidence. Bud Black was talking about how well his pitchers pitch in this ballpark. They gain confidence here at home and take that confidence on the road with them. You get into a place like Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati or Chase Field in Arizona, or even Coors Field for that matter, the way the ball carries, when pitchers become gun shy.
Ballpark in Arlington, Texas, same way. Infield's fast also.
0-2 for Romero.
But the same thing happens to pitchers, as you pointed out about pitching in this ballpark, as it does for hitters when you go to a place like Coors Field, or you go to the ballpark in Texas when the weather really starts to heat up and the ball starts to really jump. You go into that ballpark, you just want to hit it. It just creates a very comfortable, confident feeling for a hitter.
Well, I think too, when you go into Arlington and play in the ballpark at Arlington, you know as a right-handed hitter that you don't have to hit the ball real hard to get it out to right center, and that keeps you in a good approach at the plate. But in a ballpark like this, pitchers know if they keep the hitter to the big part of the field, chances are they're going to pick up an out.
Well, the same way as Fenway Park would make a left-handed hitter a better hitter, could get him out of a slump, because you go in there, you look out there to that wall, and you say, no, I can hit one down towards the label and hit it off that wall, and next thing you know, what should have been an out is a double.
Breaking ball gets away from John Buck, and the Northfield will move up. That curveball bounced away from Buck. There'll be a wild pitch charge to Ricky Romero. John Buck went to the backhand with that. You got to turn the glove up, put the palm up, and smother that ball.
Yeah, that was just not good technique. You need to slide over there and get that chest protector, get the glove down, and get that chest protector in front of the ball.
A ball and 2 strikes, another curveball. Cunningham fouls it off. Aaron Cunningham was caught looking at a fastball back in the second inning. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Romero. Way outside. Cunningham did all the damage last night. It really got the Padres off and running. A grand slam home run in the second inning off Brett Cecil to deep center field. His first hit as a Padre, his first career grand slam. He would add a double in his next at bat. Ended up with a good night, 2 for 3 with 4 RBI. Goes down for a second time. Romero with the off-speed pitch strikes him out.
This has really been his best pitch this afternoon, is the overhand curveball. And it's another strikeout with it.
And they're going to put the shortstop on with the base open now. Lance Sawatsky will get the intentional pass, and they will pitch to the pitcher, Kevin Correa. Sawatsky hit that chopped infield single to Ricky Romero. And Romero made a bad judgment when he threw the ball. No chance to get Sawatsky. That led to the unearned run for San Diego. Now he gets the free pass. So 2 on with 2 outs, and the pitcher Kevin Correa will bat. Correa hit a little soft liner to the second baseman to end the second. Denorfia at second, Sawatsky at first. Correa broke his bat.
That's the second one he's broke here. That little soft line drive you talk about it, you spoke about it. His first at bat was jam shot in on his hands. It looked like this time he was going to get Romero off of his hands, try to turn on him, and it still broke his back.
Down and in. 1-1. Back into the seats. Correa is 3 for 22 on the season, including that line out in the second. He has a couple of RBI.
Well, the one thing that jumps out very quickly when you get in interleague play is the American League pitchers, for the most part, don't even offer or swing the bat.
Correa goes down. Another good curveball. Romero strikes out 2 here in the 4th. He has 4 on the afternoon. We're tied at 1 after 4. Autograph session. Special guests include Lee Evans and Jarius Byrd from the Buffalo Bills. They'll also participate in the festivities. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. You can stop by most Rogers Plus locations or call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. That's the Fan 590 Fan Friday. We head to the 5th. We are tied at 1. Kevin Correa and Ricky Romero doing a good job. Correa has allowed just 2 hits. Fred Lewis has them both. Cut fastball on the outside corner, evens the count at 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes. Blue Jays coming into this game just 2-6 on the road trip. They've hit collectively 194 on the trip with just 4 home runs and 17 RBI. Curveball up and away. Starting pitchers have really done a number on the Blue Jays on this trip. You go back to Tampa Bay. Jeff Neiman, David Price beat them. Then Ubaldo Jimenez, Jason Hamill, and Jeff Francis, all winners in Colorado. And here last night, Matt Latos.
Well, they most certainly have faced some very good pitching on this trip, but again, if you're going to take your game to the next level, you have to figure out a way to beat good pitching. which requires typically you have to make more adjustments and you have to make them quicker against the real good pitching.
Full count base hit for Lyle Overbay. He continues to swing a hot bat. Third hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon on Kevin Correa. But you look at the record for this road trip, just 2-6, and the pitching has been hit around pretty good too. Coming into this game, the pitching staff had a 6.61 ERA for the first 8 games of this trip. Well, John Buckles trying to get something going here in the 5th. He hit into an inning-ending double play in the 2nd.
Well, and it has basically been the starting pitching that has not been good at all on this road trip.
You talk about the pitching, and you can see the team ERA 6.47, but the starters have really been hit around.
8.84 in opposition, hitting over 300 against the pitching staff. So right now you have a bad combination. You're not pitching very well, and you're not swinging the bat.
Yeah, and it's obviously a little bit of a tough stretch here. The Blue Jays have slipped to 35-31. And after a good start on the road this season, they are 18-17 away from Rogers Center. Long drive left field. John Buck has just untied it. 2-run home run for John Buck. His 12th home run of the season. That was a monster shot.
Well, it's approximately 357 feet to the fence where the ball leaves the park. And it cleared this wall on the line by about 60 feet. Okay, that's a strong man in John Buck.
Wow, great sound off the bat as well. And that ball hit way up there on the Western Metal Supply Company building.
If that building's not there, that ball goes about 450, 460.
That ball was crushed. 12th home run of the season for John Buck. Encarnacion with a chopper to third. Headley on the move, throws him out.
Where those people are sitting up there, and technically what would be the third deck of the Western Metal Supply Building, you most certainly wouldn't expect to have an opportunity at a souvenir. That's a long way from home plate.
Boy, that gives you an idea. There's a shot of that Western Metal Supply Company. It's part of this ballpark, and that foul pole is literally right on the corner of that building. Ricky Romero gets a piece of it. Now the Blue Jays have done a number with the long ball. They have been cooled off. That's just the 5th home run they've hit on this trip, but they lead the majors with 102 home runs, 17 ahead of the Red Sox.
5th home run, and John Buck has hit 3 of them. Hit 2 Monday night, here again this afternoon.
Boy, he had some sound when he made contact with that pitch as well.
Well, you want to do a comparison to show you the difference in these two ball clubs in terms of power and offense. San Diego has 103 doubles. The Blue Jays now have 102 home runs.
Ricky Romero takes a called strike 3. First out of the inning. Fred Lewis has had a good start to his day. A leadoff triple in the first. He scored, and then he singled and stole the bag in the third. It's this ball deep to center field, and Orfeo on the run. He won't get it. Base of the wall in center. Fred Lewis into second with his double. He is now just a home run shy of the cycle in his first 3 at bats.
Well, the Jays have 5 hits on the afternoon. Fred Lewis has 3 of them. Ball out over the plate, and he drove it. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that ball he hit off the center field wall in Arizona. Just a line shot that got out there so quickly the center fielder has no chance to track it down. And now another great opportunity for Aaron Hill to drive in a run.
Swings at the first pitch for the third time this afternoon. Fouls it back. On the ground foul. 0-2. Correa jumps out ahead of Aaron Hill. Blue Jays out in front 3-1. John Buck again providing the power. A 2-run home run to left. Lyle Overbay got on board with a single and Buck cashed him in. A shot deep to left field. Base hit center field. Here comes Fred Lewis around third. And Orphea's throw is cut off by Gonzalez, and Aaron Hill cashes in with a 2-out single. 4-1 Blue Jays.
The count 0-2 looked like Correa didn't make a quality pitch, and Aaron Hill made him pay for it. Looked like a hanging slider. Well, that's got to frustrate you if you're a pitcher. You've got to be a hitter down 0-2, and then you make a mistake, make a bad pitch. Of course, Lewis, with his speed, is going to score easily. With 2 strikes, most certainly he's off and running. He's having a good day.
Well, he's having a great day. Back in the lineup for the first time in this series as a starter. Adam Lind takes the first pitch for a ball. 2 runs on 4 hits in this inning. Another pitch upstairs. Correa had allowed just 2 hits coming into the 5th inning. Overbay single, Buck homered, and with 2 outs, Fred Lewis hit a line drive double off the base of the fence in center. Aaron Hill knocked him in with a 2-strike base hit. Two balls and a strike to Blue Jays left field. Two and two. Back. Lind picked up an RBI in his first at bat, grounded to second to knock home Fred Lewis. Then he flied to center. That reaction of fan had that ball in his glove and then just dropped it and everybody booed him.
Oh, it was right, Tim. You couldn't have thrown it to him and hit him chest high any better, and he just plain old clanked it. Watch this, and then watch his reaction. Right there. It's perfect. He clanks it. Doesn't even come down in front of him. It falls into the next deck.
Hang with him, buddy. 2-2. Strike 3 call. Correa strikes out Adam Lind to end the 5th inning. But the Blue Jays drop a 3-spot on the Padres. John Buck, a 2-run home run. Number 12 for Buck. Blue Jays lead it 4-1. Molina will come to town. 416-341-1234 for tickets. You can log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. The Cardinals with the last interleague series at Rogers Center this year. David Eckstein hits a slow grounder to second base, and he is retired.
Here you get a look where the Buck home run landed, about right there where that red seat is, just below the metal, the word metal there, and you get a perspective of how far that actually is away from home plate and how high up from the wall in left field.
John Buck just 6 off his career high in home runs. He had 18 when he was with Kansas City, and I tell you what, he's hit 2 of the hardest home runs we have seen this season in this series. Opposite field home run to right in Monday's game, part of a 2 home run night for Buck. That came in the 8th inning, and then that shot to the railing third deck down the left field line. 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Chase Headley, the third baseman, he's grounded out twice. Fourth pitch walk.
You were talking about the Cardinals and Yadier Molina coming in. When we were in Anaheim, the Angels had just finished playing the Cardinals, and they were really giving it to Jose Molina. Said, yeah, we were just in St. Louis, saw a Molina with 5 tools. What happened to you? They were all over.
Yeah. Ron Renicky, the bench coach there, was giving him a hard time. Of course, Jose Molina and Benji Molina both played for the Angels. And Yadier has been an all-star in St. Louis. The irony of the Molinas, all 3 of them catching, is that Jose was the only catcher originally. The other 2 were converted catchers.
So what was Benji originally?
Benji was an infielder. He certainly doesn't look like one, but he played infield. And then Yadier Molina, of course, he played third base and pitch for that great arm.
You could see where he could be an infielder as quick as he is.
Adrian Gonzalez has the count in his favor. 2 balls and no strikes. And Ricky Romero flirting with danger here in the middle of this Padre lineup.
He walked Headley, and now you put yourself in a position where you make a mistake to Gonzalez, and the Padres are right back in the ballgame.
3-0. You give Gonzalez the green light here?
I would. He hits left-handed pitching very, very well, and he has good discipline at the plate.
Takes his strike.
You know, sometimes that green light, depends a little bit on the hitter. If it's somebody will get locked in, and if it's not the pitch he's really looking for, he won't swing at it. Some guys, they get a little over anxious and they'll chase something that's borderline, get themselves out.
Bouncing ball outside of first.
As a manager, you having managed, you have to know those guys that have that discipline that you can green light them and they won't get themselves out.
Yeah, what you want from a hitter, if you give him the green light, is to basically hit as if it was a 2-1, 3-1 pitch, where you're really looking for something to drive. You don't want to swing at everything just because it's 3-0. Foul down the left side, and Gonzalez stays alive. We are in the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays lead it 4-1. It's an interesting number. When he is behind, he really struggles, but boy, he gets the count in his favor and he will wear you out.
And that's because he can hit what he wants to hit, be very selective.
Full count, 1 out. Got a piece of it to stay alive. gave up a base hit to Gonzalez with 2 outs in the third from a first pitch fastball up and out over the plate, and he ripped it into right field. In this at bat, he's given him a steady diet of pitches down in the zone.
Looked like a change up 3-2. And we've seen Gonzalez in this series. He has good plate discipline. When he gets in that situation where he knows he has to, he'll let the ball travel and let it get deep. Try to avoid being completely fooled by something off speed and not having a chance to do anything with it. He'll try to just fight that fastball off the other way.
Now the breaking ball, he stays alive.
You know, in '91, Fred McGriff hit 14 home runs versus left-handed pitching here, and then in '92 he hit 13, and in '07 and in '08 Adrian Gonzalez hit 12. Get that posted out there on that big screen. That's an interesting number. That tells you he handles left-handed pitching very well.
Another full count pitch, and Romero gets him. Changeup, he turned over, and Gonzalez strikes out for the second time this afternoon.
Well, it was a good battle, and Ricky Romero finally wins it. You can see the changeup grip coming out of the hand and had him out in front.
Romero has the ability to turn that 2-seam changeup over and create that downward movement, or he can throw a 4-seam changeup that basically is much straighter.
Well, in that situation, you like that one that's got that downward movement to it. So in case.
Got Hairston bounces a ball wide at first. Overbay's got to wait for Gonzalez, and he makes the throw to second. Overbay again showing his great range at first. Takes away a possible base hit. Padres don't score in the fifth. 4-1 Blue Jays.
Four hits, the one run unearned due to his own throwing error. Correa 5 innings, 6 hits. The big one, a 2-run shot by John Buck. And of course, Fred Lewis is having himself quite a day with 3 hits, a double and a triple.
Ricky Romero has 5 strikeouts this afternoon. He has now tied Jared Weaver for the American League lead in strikeouts. Vernon Wells with a drive to center field. Denorfia on the run, on the track. It is out of here. Vernon Wells, his 16th home run, a solo shot to make it 5-1.
Well, in his last at bat, Denorfia was able to track down a line drive hit deep to center field by Wells, but this one nobody could catch. unless you're out there in the Padres bullpen.
Another first pitch home run for Vernon Wells. Alex Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Second home run of the afternoon, hit by the Blue Jays. Coming into this game, they had hit just 4 on the road trip. Base hit left field, Alex Gonzalez. Blue Jays bats have come alive here in the middle innings.
Well, power can strike quickly. And prior to the hit by Gonzalez, they had 7 here this afternoon and it scored 5 runs. That's what power can do.
Aaron Bosley, the pitching coach, out to talk to the catcher Nick Hundley and the pitcher Correa. Looks like Bosley is talking to the catcher more than the pitcher, and Bird Mojica is up. Brian Webb also begins to throw. Webb pitched the 9th inning in last night's game. Lyle Overbay. He started things off in the 5th with a single and scored on Buck's home run. "5-1 Jays lead it." Overbay base hit to right field. Gonzalez had to hold up. Now he makes a big turn around second, but stops there. Overbay with 2 hits. John Buck hit a long home run here on Monday, his 2nd home run in the ball game to right field.
A longtime Major League scout, Gordon Lakey, told me that that was the most impressive home run he's seen from a right-handed hitter in this ballpark. This is the ball he hit earlier in this game, which was very impressive itself. But he said what was so impressive about the ball to right field, first of all, it's deep out there. It was a right-handed hitter, and it was late in the ball game when the air is very heavy in this ballpark and it doesn't travel at all. And that one even impressed the Padres.
Average up to 263. Impressive power numbers for John Buck. And Buddy Black's not going to let Correa pitch to him. Buddy Black popped out of the dugout late before Correa could throw the pitch to John Buck, and he's going to make the pitching change here. Blue Jays get to Kevin Correa. 3 in the 5th, 1 here in the 6th, and he will turn things over to the bullpen. Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Ryan Webb comes out of the Padres bullpen on the second consecutive game. He pitched the ninth inning in last night's game, an 8-2 win by the Padres. He pitched the ninth inning, walked the batter, had a strikeout. So he'll come on to face John Buck. He struck out John Buck in that ninth inning last night. Good sinking fastball, a lot of late movement from big Ryan Webb. Blue Jays have scored a run in the inning. There are 2 on and nobody out for John Buck. Off-speed pitch in for a strike. John Buck has had 3 multi-home run games this season. Outside, a ball and a strike.
They measured that home run at 395 feet in the 5th inning.
But it was going up.
Somebody needs to read that. Yeah, when it hit the building, it had traveled that far.
A ball and a strike. Good running fastball catches the outside corner. 1-2.
I think they've shortchanged him to the tune of about 70 feet there, 60 to 70 feet. See what he's done in his last 7 games, 8 for 23, 3 home runs.
Check in time, yes, according to Mark Carlson down at first base. Checked his swing on that Webb curveball. Ryan Webb is 24 years old, from Clearwater, Florida, close to Dunedin. Played at Clearwater Catholic High School. Two and 2 to John Buck. Fought off the fastball.
Here's a look. There's 357. That's 357 feet to the wall right there, obviously. So you go all the way up here to where the ball hit. And you're telling me it only traveled about 35 more feet?
Third deck, basically under the M in the Western Metal Supply Company sign. I got to agree with you, partner. Curveball, swing and a miss by Buck. He goes down on strikes. First out of the inning, Ryan Webb comes out of the bullpen to get the strikeout.
Actually, Webb got away with a little bit of a mistake. Curveball that stayed up and didn't look like it really fooled Buck, but he just missed it.
Edwin Encarnacion also faced Webb last night. He flied out to left field, ducks away from an up and in fastball. Little looping liner to second, and they turn it into 2. Alex Gonzalez, a rare base running mistake, as Eckstein caught the line drive and flipped to the shortstop, and Gonzalez is doubled off. Ryan Webb comes out of the bullpen and does a job. Blue Jays score a run. It's 5-1, middle of the 6th.
by John Buck. That would make it 4-1 at the time for the Blue Jays.
His 12th home run of the season for John Buck. He had a 2-homer game here on Monday, and the kids down on the beach beyond the fence in center field. Everybody in California tries to stay in shape. Even the kids enjoying the ball game at the beach here at Petco Park. Nick Hundley, the catcher, 0 for 1 with a walk. Fouls off the first pitch. Blue Jays lead at 5-1. Ricky Romero has held the Padres to just 4 hits. That curveball has been good all afternoon.
It's been his best pitch this entire ball game. He's had a pretty good changeup at times. It hadn't been quite as consistent as we've seen it from time to time. Threw a very good one to strike out Gonzalez in the bottom of the 5th. I like that changeup with that good downward movement, because even if the hitter has it timed, he still very often hit the top of it, where the one that's straight, if you have it timed, it square that one up a little easier.
Breaking ball is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the leadoff batter here in the 6th. Full count. Hundley has started 36 of the Padres' 66 games this year. He and Yorvit Torrealba basically splitting the games in half. Big 2 hopper for Gonzalez. Huntley's out. 1 out here in the 6th. Take a look at the pitching line for Kevin Correa. It's brought to you by MLB 10, the show, only on PlayStation.
Well, 5+ innings, 9 hits. The long ball really hurt him. That accounts for 3 of the Jays' 5 runs. The 2-run home run by Buck, the solo shot by Vernon Wells.
Correa has now allowed 9 home runs for the season. That's another indication of just how good this pitching staff has been. He and Matt Latos both allowing 9 home runs. They've done a pretty good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Latos was impressive yesterday. He can really throw. Got an outstanding arm.
Yeah, he sure threw the ball well. Latos went 6 1/3, held the Blue Jays to just 4 hits and 2 runs. Struck out 6. He's 22 years old. One upside. 2 balls and a strike. 93 pitches as he defeated the Blue Jays 8-2. Just a single walk and 7 strikeouts. Gonzalez gets tested again. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Edward Mojica throwing for a 2nd time here this afternoon. Aaron Cunningham has struck out twice. Cunningham had a career high 4 RBIs with his first career grand slam in last night's game. Ripped into center. He has himself a hit. A 2-out single off Ricky Romero. So with 2 outs, it'll be the shortstop, Lance Zawatsky. Zawatsky has an infield hit, and he was intentionally walked. Fouls off the first pitch. The Jays are up by 4, 5-1 here, bottom of the 6th inning. Ricky Romero working with 2 outs. Oscar Salazar has come out of the dugout. He will pinch hit if Zawatsky can keep the inning alive. Fisted to shortstop. Gonzalez on the run. Makes the play to first base. Gonzalez picks up all 3 assists in the inning as Ricky Romero strands a base runner. Blue Jays lead at 5-1 after 6. And lead off bottom of the 7th inning. So Lance Zawatsky, who made the last out, is lifted in favor of the pitcher, Edward Mojica. Mojica comes on to pitch here in the 7th, making his 27th appearance.
Averaging right at a strikeout per inning of work, just 4 walks issued.
Well, lots of strategy going on here in this 7th inning. Dwayne Wise will come off the bench and back for Ricky Romero, as Romero's day has come to an end. 6 innings for Romero, and Wise will start things off. Dwayne Wise started here on Monday, had a couple of hits in his first 2 at-bats, and then struck out 3 times. So he will pinch hit against Edward Mojica. John Buck, Ricky Romero debriefing after a very good outing by Romero here this afternoon. Cut on and missed by Wise.
Well, Romero just the 1 run, which was unearned due to his throwing error.
0-2. John Buck has really done a good job of giving guidance and leadership to this pitching staff. And he's gotten better and better as the season has gone on. Buck helped Sean Markham rebound after a very poor outing against Tampa Bay to win the opener of this series. Wise lifts it to left field. Scott Hairston on the run in fair territory makes the catch. Ricky Romero with 6 solid innings in line for the win.
Well, we've seen Ricky Romero with better command than he had here this afternoon. He walked 3, struck out 5, total of 108 pitches. In a number of situations, he went to 3-2 counts, deep into counts, but had a very good curveball this afternoon, and overall, pretty solid outing for Romero.
Romero looking to improve to 6-3. Fred Lewis just a home run shy of the cycle. Tripled in the first, singled in the third, and doubled in the fifth. Inside. Fred Lewis is one of only 4 players in Major League history since 1900 to hit his first big league home run as part of a cycle. That came back in 2007 at Colorado. Now he has a cycle. Jeff Fry in 2001 is the last Blue Jay player to hit for the cycle. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Struck him out. Good fastball down and away. And Lewis is retired for the first time this afternoon. Good fastball in a good spot. And Mojica retires the first 2 batters he's faced. Well, this is a good bullpen. Brian Webb came in and struck out a batter and got a double play. And now Mojica's retired the first 2 he's faced. Both the catcher and the umpire felt the impact of that foul ball. Then they took it off the mask, and Jeff Nelson looked like he got it on the shoulder.
Aaron Hill singled in his last at bat, driving in Lewis, who had doubled in front of him. It's a foul ball.
Nelson right in the middle of the chest window. Lifted to center field. Denorfia back a couple of steps. Now he'll come in and make the grab. Mojica comes out of the pen and has a 1-2-3-7. Padres will bat bottom of the 7th, trailing by 4. bullpen to take over after Ricky Romero led 6 strong innings.
3.58 ERA in 32 games. 27 2/3. Just 7 walks, 22 strikeouts.
So Downs will face Jerry Hairston Jr., who came on defensively top half of the inning. He'll bat for the first time today. Jerry Hairston Jr. started the first 2 games at shortstop. There's a good strike at the knees. Right back to Downs. Easy play on the comebacker. 1 out here in the 7th. Interesting how Cito Gaston has kind of shuffled his bullpen of late. Looks like he has given Sean Kemp more responsibility in the 8th inning.
Well, and rightfully so. Sean Kemp's definitely earned it the way he's pitched. We've seen him come into ball games in a lot of very difficult situations and do a great job to get his ball club out of trouble. That sinker, slider, and change, and there's Kemp getting up. He's probably going to get ready for the 8th.
A ball and a strike to David Eckstein. He's been held hitless in 3 trips.
I like to watch Eckstein when he's in the on-deck circle. He can't stay still. He's constant movement. Kind of like he is in the batter's box.
Right back over the mound into center field. Eckstein has his first hit. Chokes up about 2 inches on the bat handle and really handles that bat well.
He really does. He strikes out once. Well, if you really want to average it out, he strikes out basically about 4 or 5 times for every 100 official at bats. So he can really handle the bat, makes a lot of contact. It's rare that he strikes out. He strikes out once about every 23.3 times at bat.
Chase Headley is 0 for 2 with a walk. Eckstein has 11 strikeouts all season long in 142 at bats. You're pretty good with math.
Quick. Well, trouble with spelling, but pretty good with math.
2 balls and no strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
You know, I'm scuffle with spelling when I'm asking you to help me out.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well,
Eckstein jockeying for a lead at first. Not a running situation for sure. 3 balls and no strikes as Downs falls behind Headley.
Now this is a situation with Headley at the plate. If you're Scott Downs, you would like to come all the way back, at least make him earn his way aboard, put the ball in play. Because again, the man on deck with 1 swing can make it a 1-run ball game.
Three balls and no strikes. Headley takes his strike. Gonzalez on deck. He has a single in 3 at bats, but struck out twice. Line foul into the seats. Headley is 0 for 9 in the series. Full count, 1 out. Went after a bad pitch. Protecting the zone, fouled off the sinking fastball.
Well, 3-2, just you don't want to get rung up on anything that you think might be borderline. He fouls it off. And you'll see another pitch.
Blue Jays won the opener in this series 6-3 behind Sean Markham. They lost to the Padres and Matt Latos 8-2 in last night's game. Playing for the series here this afternoon. Fouled off his foot. Headley will get another chance. Headley's impressed me with his glove at third base in this series. He made several good defensive plays.
Made an outstanding play in the first game of the series and 2 more last night. You mentioned Sean Markham was talking to some of the members of the Padres staff, where they were really impressed with his feel for pitching and his competitiveness, how well he would battle.
On the ground, Gonzalez to Hill for 1. Back to first. Not in time. Gonzalez had to go too far to his right to really have a chance to turn 2 on this ball, hitting the hole by Headley.
Well, he gets rid of the ball very quickly in a strike right to Hill, and Aaron Hill does everything that he can to try to complete the double play, hang in there and make a throw to first base. But even if it had been on the money, would not have been in time to double up Headley.
So with Headley at first, Gonzalez will bat with 2 outs.
But a good job by Scott Downs after he fell behind 3-0 to come all the way back and force Headley to put the ball in play.
Certainly changes the complexion of this at bat, facing Gonzalez with 2 outs now. First pitch strike from Downs. Boy, Gonzalez is a tough hitter. 295 overall. Came into this game batting .318 against left-handed pitching. Big swing and a miss at that curveball. Downs out in front of a very good hitter. 0-2. Gonzalez has homered 4 straight years with 20 or more home runs, and he has 15 this season. It's a pitch down. This is the sign of a real run producer, hitting .326 with runners on. And everybody knows he's the one legitimate threat in the lineup. Blocked nicely by John Buck to keep Headley at first. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Chase Headley reached first on the fielder's choice. Blue Jays scored 1 in the first, 3 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th. The Padres' single run and unearned run came in the 2nd. Boy, Gonzalez can spoil some good pitches.
He really can. We've seen him do it in his last at bat against Romero, and Romero eventually won the battle, striking him out with a very good changeup. But for a guy who hits with power, he does a very good job of, when he gets down in the count, he gets to that 2-strike count, of having plate discipline, the discipline to stay back and just spoil the good pitches, and hopefully it will lead to a mistake that he can hit.
Another good pitch. He fouls off to stay alive. Shadows have now crept over the infield here at Petco Park as the sun moves closer to sunset. You can see the light standard shadow cast across the mound.
You saw the numbers there, 276 with 2 strikes. That's impressive. Usually with 2 strikes, most hitters are down into the low 200s.
Strike him out. Third strikeout by Gonzalez here this afternoon. Downs comes out of the bullpen and has a very good inning, punctuating the inning by striking out Adrian Gonzalez. Blue Jays lead it 5-1. Premium lager. Beautiful Petco Park as we head for the 8th inning. Blue Jays lead 5-1. They have hit 2 more home runs here this afternoon. John Buck with a 2-run shot and Vernon Wells a solo home run. Adam Lynn fouls the first pitch off. Edward Mojica, his second inning of work, he had a 1-2-3-7. Popped up left side. Left fielder Scott Hairston moves under it and makes the catch. 1 out here in the 8th. Vernon Wells hit a first pitch home run to lead off the 6th, his 16th home run of the season. First pitch swinging, Eckstein behind second base, throws on the money to retire Vernon Wells. 2 quick outs here in the 8th. The Blue Jays will have an off day tomorrow before they resume interleague play on Friday as the San Francisco Giants come to town. A 3-game series, then Cardinals right behind him, and then the Blue Jays will go to Philadelphia to play the Phillies and then get back into the American League with the Indians and the Yankees. 4th of July weekend in New York. A 3-game series, all day games against the Yankees. The Yankees are starting to heat up a little bit. They have moved into a first place tie with the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees are 23-7 at home. Alex Rodriguez continues to battle that hit problem. Alex Gonzalez a single in 3 at bats here this afternoon. Good fastball down and away.
Well, there's no doubt it's going to be interesting in the American League East. That's another one that's probably going to go right down the wire the last weekend of the season to determine who wins it.
Gonzalez strikes out. Mojica has another very good inning. He's retired all 6 Blue Jays he's faced. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays lead it by 4. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on Sportsnet East, Ontario, and Pacific channels. Brandon Morrow, a tough luck loser to the Rockies last time out, as he lost 1-0. Gave up a sac fly, and that was the only run of the game. Jeremy Reed has come off the bench to take over defensively in left field.
Well, Brandon Morrow in his last 3 starts has been outstanding against Tampa Bay Yankees and Colorado Rockies. Sean Kemp, a 2.70 in 29 games. He has been outstanding all season long for the Blue Jays.
And he has earned the role here in the 8th inning for the time being. Kemp has really been good, retiring first batters coming into the inning at the tune of 85%. He is 0-2 ahead of Scott Hairston. Scott Downs had a good inning. He worked the 7th. Gave up a base hit and stranded that runner.
Well, that sinker has just been outstanding all season long. Last 12 innings of work, just 9 hits. He hasn't walked anybody, 6 strikeouts. Those good sinkers, those ground balls, just they don't leave the ballpark.
Well, and he has really developed a great changeup as well, and that sinker changeup to complement his slider really gives the hitters a lot to think about. 0-2. There's the slider for the strikeout. Sean Kemp comes in and makes quick work of Scott Hairston.
Well, you get the sinker on the hands, and then they throw this one going away from you. Start to speed up a little bit to try to get the sinker off the hands and well out in front of the slider.
Catcher Nick Hundley is 0-2 this afternoon.
But the
big drive to left field. Vernon Wells will get to the warning track in front of the wall and make the catch at the 401 sign in left center. That ball kind of hung up as he and Jeremy Reed are talking about whether or not Reed could have gotten to it. But Hundley's retired. 2 outs here by Sean Kemp in the 8th.
We've talked throughout the series about this being a pitcher's ballpark. and how difficult it is to hit home runs. And of course, it's a little later in the day now. The ball's not traveling quite like it was early on in the ball game. And that was a ball right there that anywhere other than in this ballpark, it's a home run.
2 outs now for the center fielder, Chris Denorfia. Cuts on the first pitch and fouls it at his feet.
It has to be a good feeling for a pitcher when you know you can. If you go out here to 401 and over here to 400, you say, you know, I can let him. Guy can hit a ball 400 feet and you can't hit it out of this ballpark. In the alleys, in what is essentially the gaps. It's a pretty good feeling.
Keep him in the big part of the diamond and you've got a chance. 401 the left center. A ball and a strike on Chris Denorfia. 2 outs here in the 8th. Slider for a strike. Good sinking fastball, just misses outside. 2-2. Denorfia laid off the breaking pitch. Full count. Encarnacion wide of third, throws it into dirt, but there's the ever steady Lyle Overbay digging it out. Quick inning for Sean Kemp. Just 11 pitches to get out of the 8th. Blue Jays looking to wrap up this West Coast trip in beautiful San Diego. They lead it 5-1. Save on the 10th of June against the Mets in New York. So he needs some work, and he comes on to work here in the 9th inning.
27 innings, he's given up 27 hits. And like everybody else on this staff, he doesn't walk many. 35 strikeouts. You know, surprisingly, the opposition hitting 260 against him. That's a bit high usually for a closer, but he's been very effective.
Lyle Overbay will lead things off here in the 9th. Overbay's batting average up to 241. A couple of singles and a walk. First pitch top of the strike zone as Bell jumps out in front. One and one. The Jays with a chance to finish up 3-6 on this road trip. Ricky Romero would improve to 6-3 for the season. Curveball, and Overbay waves at it.
Well, you win here today, it means you've won this series. You won 2 out of 3 against a good ball club that, as we all know, pitches very, very well. And you go home on a positive note. You have a day off tomorrow, and then you come back against the Giants in your park on Friday.
Vernon Wells homered here this afternoon. Aaron Hill had a big 2-strike, 2-out RBI single in the 5th. They fouls it back. You make a great point. You have an entire 5-hour flight back east, and you get to enjoy thinking about a win. Fred Lewis got the start here today, had 3 hits. Gonzalez had a hit in the game today, but it has been a tough road trip. Hitters came into this game batting under 200 for the trip. Full count to Overbay. The Giants will come in on Friday night. Barry Zito will open it up against Brandon Morrow. Big numbers for Overbay halfway through June. He walks the appeal down to third to Jeff Kellogg, and Overbay's aboard. He's been on board 4 times tonight.
Looked like a 3-2 curveball from Heath Bell. Overbay able to check his swing.
Well, John Buck really got the offense off and running. Hit that 2-run home run in the 3-run 5th inning. Bends back from a breaking ball for a strike.
And you almost sense that when he hit the 2-run home run, everybody relaxed. Now they had a lead in the ball game. You have Ricky Romero on the mound, and from that point on, it's been very good for the Blue Jays.
High fastball, 0-2.
Especially when you've been struggling to score runs. The guy gets a big hit for you, gives you a lead. Sometimes the rest of the ball club will feed off of that.
Just off the plate. You're right, and it has been kind of a struggle. And by his own admission, John Buck talked earlier today about the fact that they let some pitchers off the hook on this trip. He had some chances, but couldn't come up with a big hit. There's a big hit for John Buck. That'll get down safely and all the way into the gap. Buck, big turn around first. He'll have to hurry back to first as the ball was returned quickly into the infield. John Buck with his 2nd hit here today.
And good base running by John Buck. He makes a good hard turn. Here's the swing. He makes a good hard turn, and then he watches the throw. Good job by Cunningham to cut it off and get the ball back in. And right here he realizes it's a good throw. It's on the money. Shut it down. Get back to second base. If that throws a little offline, he keeps first base. Throws offline, he would have kept going.
First 2 reached. The infield is in. And Edward Encarnacion swings at a high fastball. Nobody out here. Runners at the corners. Fastball foul back. Bell jumps out in front of 1-2.
Yeah, how often have you seen it? You get to bring your closer into the game just to get some much needed work, and then he walks the first guy, gives up a base hit on a 1-2 count to the next guy, and finds himself in trouble.
I don't understand the 3-2 curveball to Overbay. Start the inning. You walked him to start this inning, and now he's in a jam. The infield has come in on the edge of the grass. Try to save the run at the plate. But Encarnacion hit it on the ground. Foul back. Encarnacion is 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. a scattering of Blue Jay fans here, encouraging the Jays in the ninth. Breaking ball outside. A ball and 2 strikes. We are in the ninth. Encarnacion trying to add to the lead. And a breaking ball. He laid off up 2-2. When things slow down in the ninth, kids can enjoy the hill beyond the seats in right.
Started a trend, didn't he?
On the ground, base runner goes to second. There's a force out of second, back to first. Double play. What a double play. Well, they called Buck safe at second base now, as Eckstein was off the bag, but they make the return throw to first. Take a look at the play here as Hairston looks back the runner at third. Eckstein in the air when he caught that ball, so Buck is safe at second, but the return throw in time to get Encarnacion. Watch Eckstein.
Clearly off the bag, but he does the right thing. He throws the ball to first base and gets the out, because if he doesn't, if he gives up on the play at that point, now you have bases loaded and nobody out.
Now Jeremy Reed is in the pitcher's spot. The infield continues to play in. 1 out. Down and away. Fred Lewis is on deck, and the left-handed hitting Lewis already has 3 hits in the game. So that's why Reed is getting an opportunity to hit with the base open at first.
But it fooled me also. I was just about to say, what a double. That would have been impressive.
Well, Hairston really made a heads-up play when he turned and looked to second to get what looked like the lead runner, but Eckstein was pulled off the bag by the high throw. Three balls and no strikes. Heath Bell has really struggled since he come into this game in the ninth. We mentioned he had not pitched in 5 days, so Bud Black just trying to get him an inning of work. And there's the walk. Now the bases will be loaded for Fred Lewis. Lewis, a triple in the first, a single in the third, and a double in the eighth. He is a home run shy of the cycle. He also struck out in the seventh, so he gets his 5th at bat here. Chance to bust the game wide open. Breaking ball smothered by Hundley. Well, how often have we seen this when you bring a closer in just to give him some work and he really struggles?
Just seems like they just don't get the adrenaline and the emotion and the focus up to the level that they otherwise would have if it were a safe situation, and they struggle.
And you had mentioned that the league has hit 260 off Heath Bell. 2 balls and no strikes. Breaking ball for a strike, 2-1. See, Lewis has 2 grand slams. Would be a heck of a way to finish off the cycle here this afternoon. Three balls and a strike as Bell missed with the curveball.
And that's the pitch that kind of set everything up for this inning. Overbay led the inning off 3-2, threw him a curveball, missed, and walked him. And that's just kind of set all of this up.
Right at the top of the strike zone. Lewis didn't think so. He was set to toss the bat aside.
Here you get a look. That's probably a strike. That ball looked like it was about no higher than the letters when it crossed the plate.
The payoff pitch with one out. Bell steps off. Hundley's going to run out there and talk this pitch over. We had mentioned Fred Lewis has hit 2 career grand slams. They both came in his rookie season with the Giants in 2007. He became just the 3rd rookie in Giants history to hit a pair of grand slams in their rookie season. Babe Young did it in 1940 and Darrell Spencer did it in 53. Breaking ball again, and Lewis fouls it back.
They figure that's what he's going to throw. He threw him a 2-1 curveball. He threw him a 3-1 curveball. 3-2. He hung that one, got away with it, and Lewis had a pretty good swing.
Fred Lewis, 3 for 4 this afternoon. Bouncing ball, base hit to left field. Overbay comes in to score. Right behind him is John Buck. And Fred Lewis has had a big day. 4th hit of the day for Fred Lewis. He drives in 2 here in the 9th. He just battled Heath Bell throughout that at bat and ends up with a 2-run single.
Now this was just trying to make some contact and bounced it right over the drawn in infield.
Well, Heath Bell comes in and gets some work and gets roughed up. He retired just 1 batter in the inning. Blue Jays have scored 2 here in the 9th. Broken it wide open. 2 more runs here in the 9th inning. They lead it 7-1. Sean Gallagher comes on in relief of Heath Bell, who picked up just 1 out. Bell walked 2, gave up 2 hits. He's allowed 2 runs, and he is responsible for both base runners. Gallagher worked an inning and 2/3 in the first game of this series back on Monday night. Gave up the home run to John Buck to start the 8th. He'll face Aaron Hill. Cuts on a breaking ball and misses. Fred Lewis, with his 4th hit of the day, has driven in 2 runs here in the 9th. Lewis has 2 singles, a double, and a triple. He has scored 2 and driven in 2. 0-2. Sean Camp is in the third spot in the order. Adam Lind was lifted in an earlier double switch. Reed went into the pitcher spot. Camp went into the 3 spot. Broken back bouncer. Eckstein steps on the bag back to first base, and Aaron Hill is doubled up. So Sean Gallagher comes out of the bullpen to end this 9th inning, but the Blue Jays tack on 2 more runs. They lead at 7-1. Connected right after the game. Beautiful U.S. Open to take place at Pebble Beach starting tomorrow. Padres set to bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. They trail by 6. Sean Camp stays on to work his 2nd inning, and Aaron Cunningham will start things off. Camp had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Fly ball down the right field line. This ball slices into foul ground into the Jays bullpen. See the Blue Jay pitchers down there loosening up. They are just getting some work in, as there's an off day tomorrow. Make sure that they throw a bit today before the off day. Strike 3 call. Sean Camp, a 3-pitch strikeout of Aaron Cunningham to start the 9th.
Just a good sinking fastball right on the outside corner. Cunningham thought it was low. You can tell by his reaction he didn't agree with the call.
Johnny Gwynn Jr. will come off the bench and pinch hit for the pitcher's spot. First pitch swinging, races it down the left field line. It's a base hit. Glenn around first, headed for second. Throw in from Jeremy Reed is cut off by the shortstop, and Tony Gwynn has a pinch hit double. That looked like his pop swing right there.
Yeah, it didn't waste any time. First pitch fastball, sinker, and he just slaps it over the head of the third baseman Encarnacion. That did. That was vintage Tony Gwynn, Sr.
On with that pitch, hits the double. So he's at second with one out here. There's Tony Gwynn's statue, the Hall of Famer, out beyond the fence. Mr. Padre characterizes his impact here in this community. Harry Hairston Jr. hits a line drive to Vernon Wells, and he is retired on one pitch. 2 down here in the ninth. Padres down to their final out. Good bounce back game for the Blue Jays. Chance to win the series here in San Diego.
Well, and a good bounce back game for Ricky Romero, who had a little bit of a tough outing in Colorado. He came back here today with 6 solid innings. That the one run, of course, was unearned.
And that unearned run came in the second inning when Romero rushed to throw in an effort to get Lance Sawatsky on a chopper off the plate. Big sweeping breaking ball well outside. 2 balls and a strike to David Eckstein. Eckstein chokes up on that bat handle. You don't see that very often anymore. Does that for great bat control. And he hits it right back to Camp. This will do it. Camp to first base for the out. Sean Camp with 2 good innings of work in relief of Scott Downs, who came on to pitch the 7th. John Buck had another big home run, a 2-run shot, his 12th of the season. Fred Lewis with a big day, 4 hits, including a triple and a double. He drove in 2 runs. And Sean Camp